Tonight, welcome. If you're just joining us, MCFB Live. Can you guys believe this? We're in the last week of this year. We got 93 episodes. We've been on a ride together. It's been nothing short of extraordinary. And what a night tonight. My good friend Demi Rae Carriere from Roots Southern Salon, Savannah, Georgia. You talk about big boom boom, baby. She is off the freaking chart. She's completing her first full year. She's level 2 at $70,000 on a W-2 pay with gratuities or somewhere in there. But I don't know. I'm going to, as soon as we're done with the program, I'm going to call the Guinness World Book of Records and get her on the books because she's just crushing it big time. So what a wonderful guest to have. Let me tell you a little bit about her before I bring her on and have her tell you. She's 23 years old, as I said, level 2, graduated. Parents had aspirations that she was going to go to college. So, from the time she was a little kid, elementary, middle, high school, college prep, did a little bit of that. Calling to be a hairdresser, she did that. Started at Roots, which is a Summit salon, and it's actually Roots Southern in Savannah, Georgia, in July 2016. So she, associate, went through that first full year this year, and like I said, she's blown it up big time. So you can see that first year, 70 pops, 5 days a week, 25 guests a week, $110 average ticket. Women's haircut's $54, so she's well over 2.5 times. She's a freaking Bali Lama, man. Referrals 200 plus. She is off the charts on steroids, hitting it on all cylinders. Social media, iPhone 6 Plus with max storage. You better have max storage when you're doing as many photographs as she is. She's doing like 20 photo shoots a week. 30 pics per shoot. I mean, you do the numbers on that, that's like 600 shots a week, man. So she's really blowing it up and posting about 5 of those, but most of her content, whether it's finding the salon page or hers, is finding it on her guest page, and she's got guest influencers. So, that's the story, and that's really her performance. That's why what she's about to say should matter to you. So without any further ado, I want her to come in few minutes tonight, talk to you about what her life was like before she kind of like plugged into Roots and what happened to her at Roots, what her life is now, and then I wanted to share some best practices. So, without any further ado, let me just, cross your fingers, make sure that the IT gods are there. She is. Give it up for Miss Demi. Hi, Demi.
Hi.
Did you hear me bragging on you?
Yes, I did. It was lovely.
Wonderful. Well, so let's just jump in the pool, and the audience is real curious about what's someone like you, how did you get to Roots, being a hairdresser and you're working in the salon, what was your life like before hair school, and how did you get from that into hair school and into Roots?
Growing up, I was around my godmother a lot, who owns a salon, and I always thought that she was awesome, and I loved what she did. And so I went to college right out of high school, started working at Sephora. I was doing like all my sorority sisters' hair and stuff, and I just decided, you know what, I should be in hair school. So did that, graduated in Louisiana, moved to Savannah, Georgia, and started at Roots, and they had so many opportunities to be taken advantage of there. So.
And you were telling me that, and I talked to you a couple of days ago, that your parents, had aspirations of college, and you, elementary, middle, high school, you're going to college prep schools, getting ready for college. I think you did a little bit of time in college and decided that your calling, the soul was called to be a hairdresser.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of my parents went to college, and I think it was just the expected path for me to take, to go to college and stuff. And then when I really expressed my interest in doing hair, they were reluctant at first, but they're completely supportive of me now. And it's they were always supportive, but they were a little hesitant about it. But they're excited and happy for the success that I've had so far.
So you finish school and you go to start applying, and you find yourself at Summit Salon Roots. What happened to you there? How'd you get into that position, and what happened to you once you started there?
So I had never even heard of Summit Salons before going to Roots. And when I got there and saw that they had this program in place, I was super, super excited because I've always wanted to have a career and not just a job. And sometimes within the hair industry, it's hard to have a career and not just a 9-to-5 job because it's not taken as seriously as other careers sometimes. So having this business structure and this plan laid out for you that's so easy to follow was just amazing for me, and I wanted to take full advantage of it from the beginning.
And when you and I chat a little bit, I think you were coming in as you were seeing all this resource and potential. You're like stoked, you're fired up, and you're just making an observation that some of the people that you're working around aren't seeing the potential that you're seeing, and for whatever reason, so you're saying, no, I don't want to take that potential for granted. I really want to take advantage of it. And here you are, 1 year, not even 1 year later, and you're on a trajectory of doing 65, 70 this year, right, in a W-2.
Yep.
You stay on that next year, and it's going to be real interesting where you're going to end up.
When I first started at Roots, it was a brand new salon. The program had really just been introduced to everyone, and so I don't think that anyone really knew the potential that it could be yet. It was still such a small salon. It was in its baby stages. So I think over time, everyone's kind of realized, wow, this is an awesome opportunity, and has really jumped on board with it.
And there's another interesting part about your story. I asked you a couple of days ago. I said, so Demi, your where you're at is unprecedented. The overwhelming majority of people in the beauty business don't get to where you're at in a year. They don't get there in 30 years. So one of the questions I asked you is, what's your big why? What drives you? What kind of moves your soul? And I really loved that part of your story. I want to make sure that our audience tonight has the opportunity to hear what I heard.
Yeah, so I think that my big why is just that, I was raised in a great family. I had awesome parents who are very successful, very hardworking people, and they always told me, no matter what you do in life, if you're, a bus driver, a doctor, a mailman, a hairdresser, you be the best one that you can be, and I was equipped by them with all the tools and opportunities that I would have ever needed to be anything that I wanted. So I said, if I'm going to choose to leave, university, go to hair school, and I'm going to follow my passion, I'm going to make damn sure that I can be the best hairdresser that I can be.
Yeah, I mean, you had an interesting word that you said, Michael, I'm hardwired for it. I mean, my father, my mother, since I was little, they just said, doesn't really matter what you're going to pursue, be the best. So you're wired to perpetually better your best. And I think that's the juice, the passion, the inspiration, whatever you want to call that is got you at where you're at now and where you're going to be next year and the year after.
Absolutely. It was drilled into me, just being successful, and not just being successful financially, but being successful just, in your passions and your connections with people and spreading your knowledge and all that good stuff.
Yeah, the other thing that I remember that you said to me is that you whenever the end of your ride is, you don't want a difference between what you could have been and what you ended up being, that there was something about that was unsettling to you. You didn't want to disappoint yourself, your father, your mother, you're going to have a family someday, and that's like you said, I'm wired. I'm dock locked and ready to rock.
Absolutely. And I think with the Summit program, there's no cap on it. I think with other jobs, you can't just say, you know what, I need a raise, and starting tomorrow, I'm going to give myself that raise. But with this industry and with this program, I've said that many times over the past year that, you know what, I like where I'm at, but I would really love to be, here.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to give myself 2 months, and I'm going to make that my new weekly goal. And it's happened. If you follow the program, it's within reach for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's happened on steroids for you, girl. But the other thing I was going to ask you is, now that you're at this, you're in a very different place now than you were even a year ago, never mind when you were, in school and stuff. How has this changed your life in real time now? In a nutshell, what's your life like now compared to what it was, 12, 18 months ago?
Gosh, it's really different. I feel a newfound drive to continue to succeed than I ever did before. My husband and I have been doing some awesome things. I don't have curtains on my windows because we just bought a new house that we're moving into tomorrow.
Congratulations! That's cool.
I picked up a lot of doors.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And so now, like, where do you see yourself going from here? Like, as you kind of look out to the next year and beyond, what's next for Demi?
I'd like to continue to take classes and to grow, and I would love to get on the education side of things and start teaching myself once I feel like I'm equipped enough to do so. But just continue to take those steps in gaining knowledge and then spreading it. Just like, I've been blessed to have many people in my life in this industry that have guided me and opened doors for me, and I'd love to be that person for other hairstylists eventually.
So before we get into social media, I want to spend a few minutes there, but I'm just guided. I always ask this question because I think it's a profound question to ask, and the answers that the guests give are always inspiring. You're in a place that's diametrically opposite, like 100,000 miles ahead of where you were even a couple of years ago. So I want you to think about when you were in beauty school, which isn't that long ago, and you're in your first 100 hours, couple of 100 hours, and you don't really know what's coming at you. There's people that are sitting in those chairs as we speak, and now that you're where you're at, in a nutshell, what might you say to them, especially those people that are like freaking out, going, okay, should I have even signed up? They're fidgety and they're going, I'm not sure. What would you say to them that gives them hope, inspiration, and vision?
I would tell them that hair school does not have to set the precedent for the rest of your career. That hair school can be tedious and be monotonous and it's repetitive, and hair school in general can be a negative experience for some people because there's a lot of people there that it's not their true passion. Not a huge percentage of people that graduate hair school actually go on to do hair for the rest of their lives. So I would let them know that, if this is your true passion, just get through it, soak up as much information as possible, get some education on the side, start watching videos like these, follow the Summit program, start following people that you want to be like, and prepare for the future. Don't focus on the right now, on the sitting in the classroom. Focus on what can be and what will be for you.
I love it. Let's pivot to social media, because you're doing, I think, some real interesting things. You've got a handful of ideas that are just like your formula. And I know that as you and I were chatting, there's like 4 or 5 things that you do. One of the first things that you were telling me about is your conversation starter. And that because you're as social as you are, many of your guests get to you from your page. So it's not as awkward for you to begin that conversation.
Right. So I usually always start with, welcome to Roots. How did you find us? How did you find me? How did you hear about this salon? And, 9 times out of 10, they say Instagram or Yelp or Facebook. So it's an easy segue into the social media aspect of their salon experience because it started that way.
That's cool, because so you're saying the overwhelming majority of people that come and see me, my referrals, found out about me on social, whether it's Instagram, Facebook. So that on-ramp for you is natural. It's like, oh, okay. And then, you begin by saying, okay, if it's going to be a photo shoot and all that, you're saying that conversation is almost like a natural flow.
Absolutely. And, a lot of them have seen work on social media. So at the end of the appointment, when you say, hey, do you mind if I can take some pictures of you? Most clients are excited about it, and they're like, oh, tag me or send me these pictures. I'm going to post them too. And so they think it's cool to see their hair on your page.
It's almost as if when they're coming in, they're hoping, expecting, anticipating that part of that experience on the back end, there's going to be a photo shoot. So that's one more thing that they're looking forward to. It doesn't take them by surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then when you're finished and you're doing the photo shoots, I was giving the audience some of your stats. You're doing a handful a week. You're taking lots of pictures. Some of those you post either on the salon's page and in your page, and then a lot of that content finds its way on your guest pages.
Yeah, so that's really cool too. You know, if you say, "Hey, I'm gonna message you these photos," or if I'll tag them in the post, and then they can share it, or they will post it, repost it on their personal pages, and they usually tag me. And if they don't tag me, I'll usually comment under that picture and say, "Hey, you know, Sally, thanks so much for coming in to see me. I can't wait till our next session." Blah blah blah. So then the people that are liking and commenting on that picture know who did it, and I'll usually comment under my hair page, not my personal page. That way they can click on the little link that says Demi Rae Hair and go straight to my hair page and see other work and stuff.
And because I think I think you told me like 70 or 80% of your guests are uploading that content to their page, and that there's a number of those guests that we've now called them guest influencers, because those are guests that have, you know, instead of 200-300 people following them, some of these people have 800, 900, 1,000, 2,000 people following them. Every now and then you'll land on one of those guests, and it's like you strike oil, and from that there's like 15 or 20 referrals.
Yeah, I have several guests that from them I've gained like 15 or 20 clients. And it's not always the guest that you think it is. It's not always like the young, popular girl that has 1 million followers on social media. Sometimes it's the mom that you did a mommy makeover on, and she has, you know, 15 other mom friends who are looking for the same thing, and that's where you get your guests from. So I would say, you know, never discredit your guests. Take pictures of everyone, post everyone's pictures, tag everyone, because you never know which one of those is going to be the gold mine.
Right. As I summarize after our conversation, I've actually did a couple of screen grabs of some of the things that your guests have posted on their page, the review they made of you, which is just extraordinary. So I'll cover that before I say goodbye to the audience. We're out of time, but I'm going to want you back on this program on the back end of next year, because we're going to be waiting with bated breath. If this is what you did in your first year, you know, the sky's the limit. We're going to blink, and it's going to be this time next year. So would you come back for an encore?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. All right. One more time. Let's give it up for Miss Demi Rae. One more time for coming in. Thank you, Demi. You did a wonderful job, and I'll be connecting with you to follow up after the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it.
Stay well. Say hi to the peeps for me, will you?
I will.
Bye. All right, give it up for one more time. That was indeed an extraordinary interview, and I just didn't want to leave without recapping, you know, what she was doing. So she's got a system now, gang. She's got her conversation started, because she has branded so much of herself on her own page. She uses the Roots Southern page. Lucas he's one of the owners, in the Roots Southern, and he's a social media master as well. So you're going to find her content on the salon's page, her page, and as guests are coming in, they're already familiar. They're on those platforms. So that conversation's natural. You heard her give her script. When she keeps an eye on guest influencers, which are guests that have double, triple number of people following them that go beyond the average of 200, 300 guests. She transfers those photos for her guests so that they can upload. She's got 70 to 80% of her guests that are posting those pictures on their pages, and she always follows up. And one of the things that we didn't show is these are pictures of her guests that they've uploaded on her page. A beautiful review that she said worked some serious magic today on my main. That was Mary, which is one of her guests. It blew up her page. 136 likes. 56 comments. This is really where the overwhelming majority of referrals are coming from. They're coming from when the guest is posting the content on their page, and there's some follow-up. So it was just nothing short of extraordinary. Give it up for Demi one more time. All right, so, we got a lot of people on tonight. We just blew the charts on our viewership. If you're new to hanging out with us, make sure that you're like this page, save the page. There's a comment in there where make this page the first that you see, so you're not hunting on the Facebook galaxy cyberspace to find us. Because we are blogging daily now, video blogging, and like I said, this is our 93rd episode. I want you to hang out on summitsalon.com if you're new to the community, and there's a whole bunch of free stuff there. All of our videos that we've curated and edited are on there. If you hit summitsalon.com/MC Live, you'll find them all. And we've edit them so that it's a 5-minute, 10-minute watch. So it's wonderful. Many people now are using this channel for their social media. Then we have there's many other things that we have. We've got calculators now that we've designed to set goals, day-to-day service and retail goals. This is all at no charge. If you hit summitsalon.com/calcs, or just go to the calculator page, scroll down when you get on the home page, and you'll see it as well. We've also got a tracker now that you can download and really kind of measure what you treasure, so that to see how effective your posting is doing, how you're growing your referral rates and your rebook rates, etc. So all this stuff is for free, man. Get on there, hang out. You'll make big boom boom. And so before we say goodnight, as I always do, these are our sponsors. The L'Oreal PPD Professional Product Divisions. This is all of their brands. And we thank them because their financial support allows us to bring you a production value on Facebook Live like this. I mean, this is like a tutorial with steroids, as well as Salon Centric, and then our partner State Beauty Supply and RDA, and of course Summit Salon Business Center supporting it as well. So it's been a wonderful program. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you guys. See us next week. I've got somebody that's still a student in school at levels that are just amazing. There isn't a week that doesn't go by that I'm not blown away by what social media is doing for people behind the chair. So having said all of that, I'll see you next week.